Hello and welcome to another Slay the Spire run. We got to Ascension 17 yesterday with a, let's see, what did the deck do yesterday? Let's go back and look at yesterday's run, because I don't remember. I remember we won. Okay, so we won with, oh yeah, we had just crazy relic luck. We had orange pellets and duality. That was the sort of key for the deck. And Incradan, or whatever, was feeding us powers to proc orange pellets. We had preserved insect and slaver scholar, so we were really good in elite fights and boss fights. Hallway fights in Act 3 were actually quite a challenge. Hallway fights were pretty hard. We got through it with a bunch of, food, as well as fasting. So we were constantly fasting and then purging our fasting debuff. And then we picked up randomly Dead Branch, Shuriken, and Kunai at the end. So we pretty much used all of our relic luck for the month. Okay, but now we get to do Ascension 17, which makes the game harder. So, yeah, if we get another run like the last one, we're definitely going to keep winning, but not every run can be like the last one. Shuriken also says hi. Just get her situated. Okay, so remove two cards. Generally, you want to be removing strikes because they're worse than defense. And they're the worst cards in your starting deck. But in order to fight Act 1 elites, you need those strikes, and you need sort of attack commons. 3 random potions feels like a waste because we only have 2 potion slots, which is like Ascension 10 or something, 11. And transform card, generally you get bad stuff. Also, you get, I really like getting a random boss relic for Watcher, because they tend to be pretty energy sensitive, and pure water is not very good. So let's get a random boss relic. Okay, we ended up removing 2 cards anyway. We're not paying for it, so it's better than if we had picked the lose all gold option. Let's take a look at the map to see what we want to remove. It looks like we might end up at this store. This route's really hard. This is not a good map. So maybe we'll do this path, because then we got 3 hallway fights. Maybe these aren't fights. And then an elite, and then we can rest at this fire, and then do 2 more elites. So I don't think we can afford to remove 2 strikes for sure. We could probably get away with strike defend. Or we could just go a little bit crazy and do 2 defense. I think strike defend is the sort of most conservative choice, given that we don't really know what the run's going to be about yet. Okay, so we're probably going to just block out here. Shellworm does scale, but we also scale a little bit when we go into vigilance mode, so. Do we have lethal? Probably. So these are 12 damage apiece, that's 24, and then 9, so we don't have lethal. We're off by 10. We can just Eruption Vigilance Defend, which doesn't do any damage, but does block out. We could throw a strike in there or something. Let's see. What are we interested in doing? So if we just Eruption and strike, we could still Vigilance, right? Because we'll have 5 energy total. No, we could Eruption, strike Vigilance, which is, we would do 12 damage to him, and then we would take 4. Or we can Vigilance Defend and block out. I think the first turn, when we just blocked out and didn't do any damage to Jawworm, I felt okay about that. I think now that he's got 5 strength, I'm a little bit less okay. just letting him stack up forever. So we're going to punch him once and take 4. I guess we're doing the same thing with the same justification. Okay, we should be able to win the fight without taking any more damage, though. Yeah. Okay, Flex Pod is really good. Flurry of Blows. Wow, these are all just absolutely monsters of floor 1 cards. Deceive Reality is super good. Flurry of Blows is super good. Perseverance is super good. Let's take Flurry of Blows, since we did lose a strike, so I would rather have an attack card than a defensive card. Also, Flurry of Blows is just really a run-defining card, so it's really nice to start there. I'm going to take some question marks. Hopefully we don't get stabbed. Oh, we got a Relic, wow. Oh man, Shuriken. Well, that seems like Flurry of Blows just got really good. Okay. Well, that's what we're doing this run. I'm gonna Shuriken people. We can proc Shuriken right on turn 1 here, too. Is this lethal? So we got 10 plus 14 is not lethal. So we will just Vigilance. Oh, I forgot we had Flurry of Blows, darn. Might have been lethal. Okay, so we've got Flurry of Blows and Eruption, so this is almost certainly lethal. Yeah. Okay, got another potion. Conclude, I think, is something we definitely need in the deck. Really good against sentries in particular. Let's see. So we're getting strength out of Shuriken. So it's not like we're trying to, like, it's not like Kunai, so we're not trying to play attacks and then play defensive cards. So it's fine if our last card is an attack. Let's see, what do we want to do here? I could just, like, Flex Pot Conclude. Oh, I guess that doesn't kill him. I guess I can Flurry of Blows, Vigilance, Defend, Flurry of Blows, and take 1 damage and pop both of their shields. So this is sort of developing our win condition of doing damage to them, and not dying. So Eruption gets us back Flurry of Blows, which does 8 damage. So we win. Just Lucky is quite good with Shuriken. We need some more card draw to make it, like, super good. Study does that. Also, Lake Water is a little bit dependent on whatchamacallit, being in calm form, whereas we are Flurry of Blowsing, so we're trying to stay in stance. I think Just Lucky is good because it makes it really easy to trigger Shuriken. Although we already do have a Flurry of Blows, so we're in a little bit of danger of being too monolite and not being able to spend our energy, but with 5 cards in hand, 2 of them are 2 cost, I think we're okay for the moment to take Just Lucky. Alright, this looks like we are defending, unless we can, like, Flex Spot and kill this turn, which is not out of the question. So if we Eruption, Just Lucky, Conclude, then Eruption does 14, Just Lucky does 16, so that's 32, and Conclude does 24. So yeah, we actually do have lethal with Flex Spot. Is it worth it? We would be spending Flex Spot right before we go into an elite fight, but we don't have any way to purge the debuff, so This is about as much damage as Flexbot is going to do, and it's saving us a minimum of 9 health, probably much more. So I think we're going to do it. Plus, we've got 2 potions, so we wouldn't want to be stuck unable to get a 3rd potion. We can take Perseverance and start getting some block. Flying Sleeves is pretty convenient since it retains, so it helps us get that one, or the 3 attacks we need per turn. And attacks are really good for elite fights coming up. Crush Joints is also quite good. Crush Joints is actually not very good against Gremlin Knob. So I think we're going to pick Flying Sleeves because it helps the Shuriken game plan, and Shuriken game plan is the game plan. So, is it possible for us to get a stack of strength without waking him up? We could do Just Lucky, Flurry of Blows. No, so we'd have to wake him up. So I guess we might as well wake him up right now. Hold on. So Flying Sleeves, I didn't think about this, but it scales with strength, which is really powerful. Because we have scaling strength. So maybe the game plan is to try and hold on to Flying Sleeves and get as much strength as we can. So most likely our next hand contains Flurry of Blows and a way to get into a stance. So we're going to want to Flurry of Blows, stance, Flurry of Blows, attack, and get an extra strength. It seems like it's nice to do that with Flying Sleeves in hand. So I'll just spend this turn developing Flying Sleeves into hand. Okay, I was hoping for Eruption first. I guess I can just do that. Because he's not waking up this turn. So I could Just Lucky to filter my draws a little bit, get the defend out of here. Yeah, I'll Just Lucky and go into Vigilance, and then I've got extra mana for the Eruption thing. That seems good. We'll keep the Strike. No. We're gonna mulligan the Strike. Okay. So this is the turn. Oh, great. We got Flurry of Blows. So we'll Flurry of Blows, Eruption. Yeah, we don't need to talk about it. Just do it. We do want to go back into Vigilance next turn, so we'll leave that there. Okay, and then now we need to block because we're afraid. We can't block out. We can block for 13 and he did this for 20. So do we want to block for 5 or do 16 damage? I think 16 damage beats out blocking for 5. Is it worth it to use Thorn's Pot? Probably not. I think we're blocking for as much as we can next turn, and then probably killing him before he finishes cursing us. We don't have much block. We actually can probably kill him this turn. Yeah, we can definitely kill him this turn. Okay, so we're going to Eruption, Strike, Strike, Conclude, which is 100% default. Cool. What the fuck? How? I went on and on last round about how lucky it was to get both Shuriken and Kunai. Getting it immediately is insane. So now that Just Lucky pick looks friggin' genius. There's no way to lose this run now, right? This is nuts. I guarantee I did not pick the seed. I did it on stream, so I'm wow. Let's see. So we could do Empty Body. It scales with Kunai and it helps us fetch out Flurry of Blows. But it doesn't draw any cards. And it's not an attack. and we need to get 3 attacks per turn. But we do need something to block with, and we did get rid of a defend at the beginning, so I don't feel too bad taking a bit of an early defensive card. Alright, can we kill him before he takes our stuff? I think so. So we got Flurry of Blows, Vigilance to block, get another Flurry of Blows, and then we can conclude, I think is clearly the best choice. We can probably kill him this turn. We do Just Lucky in 2 strikes is 18 damage plus 10, yeah, 28. Actually, it's plus 12 because we get the strength prep before Flying Sleeves it. Okay, Cut Through Fate is absolutely great with Kunai Shuriken. We don't really need Consecrate because we have Conclude. So Cut Through Fate. Let's go. Let's see. It seems like the only way to lose with this run is if we just die right now. We could still use the upgrade, but I think we're going to take a rest here. Just in case. Smiling Mask is not great, but it's not that bad. Okay, here's Gremlin Nun. So we can do 3 attacks. We can't end with Flying Sleeves because Conclude ends the turn, but it's not that big of a deal to get the extra 2 damage from the Flying Sleeves strength. Alright, so we can Flurry of Blows, Eruption, Flurry of Blows, Cut Through Fate, and then Block Pot, and probably perfect this fight. So this is going to be 5, 10, so that's 15, 25 plus 16, so that's 41 damage, and then we only need 17 more. Yeah. Hopefully Cut Through Fate only sees defensive cards, but that's okay too. So we have to rely on the shuffle to get us 1 defend. I should have used the Block Pot. I meant to do that, but I had forgotten. So we're going to discard the Fire, or the Thorn Spot. We've got better ways of dealing damage. Just Lucky is great. Follow-up is also pretty good. We're going to take Just Lucky. If our whole deck is Just Lucky, we would win. So increasing our Just Lucky density is just a good thing. Because it scales by strength and dex, and it scales my strength and dex. And that's just some crazy self-synergy. I think now we can afford to Smith, even though we took unnecessary damage, and should have perfected that fight. I'm a little mad at myself. Let's upgrade Cut Through Fate to see an extra card. Okay. So we do Flurry Blows twice and Just Lucky to get defense. We can't do it and then Vigilance, but we are going to block out anyway, so I'm going to do this back one, hopefully killing him before he wakes up. We're going to keep Conclude on the top. It's a pretty good card in this fight. We might need to use our Block Pot this turn. Okay, so we want to do 3 attacks and then Just Lucky. And hopefully, I guess we don't have enough mana to really do that. Just Lucky and a defend, unless the defend is Empty Body, in which case we get extra mana. So let's see what Cut Through Fate sees. I think we're just gonna fish for Empty Body here. Oh, got it. Okay, that was 1 and 3. So let's do 3 attacks and then empty body, and then flying sleeves conclude. Conclude's going to do 14 because we're going to get a Shuriken proc in the middle. So we only need to do 9 damage to him, which we can do with just lucky strike, wasting 2, or we can do with flying sleeves, which wastes slightly more. So there's that. Let's get rid of the Ascender's Bane. And then we're going to empty body, get 2 energy back. I forgot about Flurry of Blows. We're going to try and set up this sentry to die next turn. And get pretty darn close. Yeah. Wow. So Conclude is going to kill him, so I don't need to waste extra damage. So let's pile some damage in here. And Conclude actually kills both. So that's a perfect fight. We get a Dead Branch. Another Just Lucky, and another Flurry of Blows. Really a lot of great options here. Oh, I forgot to notify my Discord. So I don't know. Are we just picking every Just Lucky we see? It seems like that just helps. It seems like it's better to okay. So our first pick was Flurry of Blows, and at that time we were excited about changing stances and Flurry of Blowsing. We could still kind of do that. We can change stances a lot, get a bunch of Flurry of Blows, use those Flurry of Blows to get Shuriken and Kunai. Procs. But we can also just play Just Lucky and get all those things and get block and scry through the deck. 3 Just Luckies seems a bit excessive though. And Flurry of Blows does draw you cards, not just scrying, because it draws a card when you finish stances, right? And the way that Flurry of Blows draw works is it always draws you a 0-cost attack, which is what we want to be drawing. Right? We want to have some defensive cards that we're retaining or whatever, and then a Flurry of Blows that we're drawing. So these are both really good picks. I think just because I already have 2 Just Luckies, I'll pick a Flurry of Blows, but this is an embarrassment of riches, so I think either one is defensible. Right, this is a tough fight for this deck. We're not really ready for it. We do 4, 8, 11 damage with these attacks, so we can kill this guy who's attacking us, which seems good. I'm gonna keep Empty Body. If we get a stance-changing card, then Empty Body draws us 2 stance-changing things. We did get a stance-changing thing. We also got Conclude. We don't have if we Eruption Conclude, I think we should have lethal, so let's just do that. Yeah. Fasting was really good last run. And so follow-up costs 0 and is an attack, but we have so many 0-cost attacks right now that I don't think we're trying to pick another one that isn't either Just Lucky or Flurry of Blows or something else that draws card like Weave. Weave would be really good because of the Just Luckies. Excuse me, I'm feeling very congested. I'm going to make myself some tea, actually. I'll be right back. Alright, got the hot water going. I think none of these are crazy enough to go with these, so we're gonna skip. You know, I didn't look at the boss, but this is actually the worst boss to be Shuriken Kunai in Act 1 against. So that's unfortunate. We can play all the cards in our hand, and I think they probably kill him, so let's just kill him. This doesn't matter. So liquid memories. We've already got stuff in our discard pile that returns itself. We could return like a vigilance or something, but I think the fire potion is more valuable because we can change his stance with it. We need to pick a perseverance at some point. Retain and block is really good with Kunai. So wheel kick is also totally worth considering. It's an attack. We have lots of zero cost attacks and not very much card draw. What does upgraded wheel kick look like? It does not draw 3 cards. So perseverance and wheel kick both seem pretty reasonable. Honestly, crescendo is pretty reasonable too. We have a lot of stancing stuff and dead branch. So being able to retain and change your stance seems pretty good. We're going to go with perseverance just because the next fight is Bronze Automaton, and we need to be able to block him. We have plenty of health, so we're going to upgrade. Let me go finish making my tea. Hey, Kieran. Oh, sorry. Let me put my... Hello, Kieran. So, yeah, sorry for being away. I'm a little bit congested, so I was making myself some tea. Hopefully it doesn't affect my voice too much. So we just picked Perseverance. We have some crazy relics. We've got Shuriken and Kunai. So we just picked a bunch of zero-cost attacks. We've got 2 Just Luckies and 2 Flurry of Blows, and an Empty Body, so we're trying to change our stance a bunch. We are against Bronze Automaton in a second, so we're trying to figure out which card we should upgrade. I love upgrading Perseverance, but Eruption is also a consideration. Our deck is so low cost that getting a little bit lower cost is not really super good. The Just Luckies do. Hello, Mr. Desert. Thanks for joining the chat. Just Lucky upgrade is pretty good just because it scries for 2, and then we get to control our draws a little bit more. Scries are also have a little bit of extra marginal value with Flurry of Blows because you can discard it and then change stances to draw. But Perseverance has got like the sexiest upgrade, right? Especially against Bronze Guardian, where I don't need to block for the first like 3 turns, and then he hits me for 20. So we're gonna do Perseverance. All right. So he's just the Guardian. I guess he's not Bronze Guardian. So we're just gonna get our procs here. Nothing too fancy. And then can we do 23 damage? We can do 17, 21 minimum, but let's cut through fate and see what that's all about. So we can get another, we can get flying sleeves, and with a strength stack that does the most damage. Let's see. We will keep vigilance there. We're going to need some block next turn to let us get the armor we need. Oh my god, we got a second Perseverance off of the exhausted. What is that card called? Ascender's Bane. So we can Vigilance and Empty Body to draw our Flurry of Blows. That makes us take 6 from Flurry of Blows alone. But we want to get a Dexterity proc this turn. So if we do that and Empty Body, we're gaining 19 block and attacking 4 times. So yeah, so if we only attack 3 times, then we block perfectly. So let's do it. Get all the procs. I guess we have another defend, so we can just like defend conclude. I was not considering the extra mana I would have from doing this dance dancing. Actually, we can defend Flurry of Blows conclude. Okay. So now we don't have any stance stuff we can do, and he's hitting us for 16, so we probably need Perseverance this turn. Hopefully we can Perseverance and still... yeah, no, with the Shuriken Kunai, I really feel like the sky is the limit for, like, you can just sort of infinite Flurry of Blows and stuff. This run's going to get pretty silly, although then we're going to fight Time Lord again. And he's going to say, no more Flurry of Blows, because he's rude. Let's see. So let's do Perseverance first, and then let's take a look at what our options are. We get to mulligan a Flurry of Blows, and I will take the Just Lucky, because it blocks. So we can play... let's see, so Empty Body blocks for 10, it'll block for 11 by the time we get there. And then we can play these 2, which also blocks for 5, so we've been blocking for 16 with just these 2. But we're taking 6, so we're blocking for a net 10, which puts us up to 23, which is enough to block 16, so let's do that. We do want Vigilance next turn, so let's do that. Okay. We can probably break him again this turn, because Vigilance is going to draw 2 Flurry of Blows, and then we're going to play both, and then we're going to Eruption and play both again, and then Flying Sleeves. We'll do a bunch of damage. So yeah, that's the plan. This is a bad plan, because we can't actually afford Eruption. We have a choice between blocking out and getting an extra proc of Dexterity and Strength. So far we've perfected this fight, so we're going to continue trying to perfect it. Oh math, why do you betray me? Okay, so now we get to do Eruption, Just Lucky, stuff. There's an argument to be made that we just lucky first because the top card could be Flurry of Blows. There are 2 of those out of 11, so there's like a 9% chance that we would get an extra, what would it be? 4 plus 4, so 8 times 2 damage. So 16 damage. 90% chance of 16 damage is like sub 2 damage, but if we Eruption first and then just lucky, we're guaranteed to get 7 extra damage, so it's not worth it. I, however, did not consider that we probably don't want to try and fight through his armor. Actually, we do, because he only gets 20 armor, and we're doing so much damage that we don't really care about his armor. Okay. We're in pretty good shape here. We can probably just defend and kill him. So 1836, yeah, that seems like lethal. Cool, perfect Guardian fight. Judgment can do some stuff. It can kill like birds, and like it's okay in hallway fights. I don't understand why the card exists though. It's like it's good against baseball. It's just got lots of weird little angles you can do with it. But like maybe it's good if you have like, I don't know, if you've got some kind of deck where you can like search through your deck for answers. Like it reminds me of a Magic card that you'd like put in your sideboard if you're playing a Wish card, so that you can go get stuff off your sideboard. You're like, aha, this card's perfect for this situation. But otherwise, you don't want it. Or I guess just any card you put in your sideboard, right? Because then you only put it in your main deck when you need it. But we don't, I don't know. It's not, we don't need it to win fights, so we're not taking it. Omniscience is kind of fun. We don't know if we're getting energy, so it could be completely unplayable. And there's not really anything in the deck we want to Omniscience. We would probably end up playing it on like Vigilance or something, which is pretty bad. It's like, yeah, Omniscience is really cool if you get like Diva Form, but then also we don't really need Diva Form. So what we would really want is like to Omniscience Study, so that we can like draw lots of cards really fast. Spirit Shield is I don't understand what you're saying, Akiran. You played good cards as Wishboard targets in Belcher. Wishboard. What do you? Wishboard targets in Belcher. Maybe you're talking about a game that I don't know about. Belcher. Spirit Shield is fine if we get like lots of cards that draw, but it doesn't. Oh, I see. You're talking about Magic. Yeah. Yep, Magic is fun. Spirit Shield doesn't like super scale with the way that we're trying to do things. It's hard to play Spirit Shield and 3 attacks in a turn. And what matters more than the number of block that it does is just that it's a card that says block on it. So I would actually prefer a card that costs 0 and blocks for 3 to a Spirit Shield, generally. So we can skip all those. Got an option for Slaver's Collar again. We could Pandora's Box. We kind of need at least some amount of strikes. No, we don't. That's a lie. Really, we just need just Luckies and Cut Through Fates and Flurry of Blows. So Pandora's Box is totally an option. Ectoplasm is kind of fine. We don't really need to like buy a bunch of stuff from shops. And getting the 1 extra energy is pretty useful, because we're going to want to pick cards that just say draw on them. And having extra energy to do that is really good. Slaver's Scholar is probably my favorite energy relic, since there's basically no downside, except that you're bad at hallway fights. Let's see, so with Shuriken Kunai, we're already not super great at hallway fights, right? Because hallway fights, you have less time to set up. The first like 2 turns are more important, and we're not very good at the first 2 turns. And because Shuriken and Kunai are so good, we really don't need this sort of late game scaling. that we would get from our gold, right? Like gold is really good for, you accumulate a bunch of it, you go to a store, you buy a Shuriken or a Kunai, right? You're like, aha, I found it, you know? This is the thing that enables my deck to win, right? Like that's what gold is for. But we already have that, so we don't need gold. We just need energy. So I think it's between Ectoplasm and Pandora's Box. All right, you know what it's time for? It's time for a spreadsheet. Is Pandora's Box good for this deck right now, is the question. We got like a little bit of stance dancing, a lot of zero cost attacks, and we need more things that cost 0, more things that draw, more attacks, more just luckies, and we need to figure out if Pandora's Box has that kind of stuff for us. So let's switch the OBS view and open up a spreadsheet and start doing some counting. Let's see. What do we? There's like a. Oh, here we go. Watcher eval. That's what I've been using. Okay, we're gonna do this on half the screen. Let's see. Let's make a new window. Put that over here and this over there. And then we're gonna do the Slave Spire Wiki. Okay. And we're gonna look for Watcher cards. And we're just gonna rate them all from 1 to 5. Okay, we can't get these ones. Go away. Oh my gosh, ads, jeez. We can't get the starter ones. Bowling Bash. It's an attack. It scales with strength. It doesn't draw anything, and it doesn't dance dances, but it's powerful on its own, so it gets a 4. Consecrate is a 0 cost attack, but we already have lots of 0 cost attacks, so we don't really want more. And we already have some AoE. I'll give it a 2. Crescendo is kind of neat. Combos with Dead Branch, does some stance dancing. I wouldn't pick it, but it's better than a defend right now. Maybe better than a strike. I'll give it a 2 again. It's kind of middling. Crush Joints is fine. We kind of want to be playing attacks before defense, but Crush Joints says play. Crush Joints is also just good. Just applies debuffs. So I'll give it a. I don't know. It's better than a strike, but it's not a good card. So I'm going to give it 2. Cut Through Fate is amazing. It's a 5. I'll pick that in a card reward over pretty much anything right now. Empty Body's kind of okay. It ticks a couple of the boxes. It does some blocking, which we're going to need after we transform all of our defense. It does some stance dancing, so it helps us stack our decks and stuff. So I'll give it a 4. Empty Fist is much the same thing. It helps us scale our Kunai and Shuriken, and does stance dancing. It doesn't block, but it does count itself as an attack, so I'm going to give it a 4 too. Evaluate is kind of interesting. It is block and draw. It doesn't attack, but it's pretty good, so I'll give it a 3. Flurry of Blows, I'll give it a 5. It's a good card. Good for this deck. Flying Sleeves, we already have one, but I'm definitely not upset to get another one. It scales really well with strength. It helps us smooth out our turns. I'd guarantee that we're getting a proc on every turn. I'll give it a 4. Follow-up does not draw. It is a 0 cost attack, but we don't really need more 0 cost attacks. So I'm going to give it a 2. Halt is it's got cross synergy with all the 0 cost stuff. If we manage to get lots of card draw, Halt is fine, especially if we're stance dancing. And it is 0 cost and says block on it, which is what I said I wanted over a Spirit Shield. So I'll give it a, but I'm not excited about getting it because I don't have tons of card draw right now. So I'm going to give it a 2. Just Lucky is great. I don't know if I really need more of it, but I'm going to give it a 4 because it's good. Pressure Points is terrible. It's absolutely not what we want. It's not an attack. It doesn't block. It's a 1. Prostrate is fine. It's a 0 cost block card. I don't have any mantra synergy, so I'll give it a 2. Protect is quite good. We need ways to protect ourselves in an emergency, and protect retains and does that, so I will give it a 5. Sash Whip is kind of the same story as what's the other card? Crush Joints, where it's like, you know, it's an attack. It peels artifact charges. It's also a little bit defensive, but it's not defensive in the way we want to be, which is cards that cost 0 and defend and draw cards or something. So I'll give it a 3. Third Eye. Third Eye is kind of interesting. If we manage to find a weave, Third Eye becomes very good. But we don't have a weave yet. We do have lots of sort of weave synergy. So we're definitely taking a weave if we see one. And Third Eye does block. We need block cards, and it helps you smooth out your draws. I'll give it a 3. Tranquility is fine. It helps us get out of Wrath in emergencies and does some stance dancing stuff. I like Tranquility better than the Wrath version of it, because having Tranquility in your hand it costs -1 mana, even if it's unupgraded. So that part of it's neat. I'll give it a 4. Battle Hymn is pretty good. It kind of says card draw, and it draws 1-cost attacks, which is not bad. It does require you to develop a power, which is not really what I want to be spending mana on. And the upgrade makes it innate, which is honestly kind of annoying. I'll give it a 2. Carve Reality is great. It lets you play 2 attacks, and I want to play 3 attacks per turn, so it's like 5. Collect is bad for this deck. I don't want to be doing that. I don't want to be messing around with energy stuff. Conclude, we don't really want. Having 2 concludes puts you in pretty awkward situations sometimes. It's a good card on its own, and it's an attack, so I'll give it a 2, but we really don't want it. Deceive Reality is amazing. It double scales with Dexterity, and it helps you out in emergencies. That's a 5. Empty Mind is kind of exactly what we're looking for. It stance dances and draws cards, so we're going to give it 5. Fasting is terrible for this deck. We've already got sources of strength and dex scaling, and we really need that energy, so that's a 1. Even though it was like the cornerstone of our last run. Oh, I guess you can see that I just focused my OBS window. Fear No Evil's pretty good. It's not as consistent as I would like, but it is some stance dancing, and it is an attack, so I'm gonna give it a 4. Foreign Influence is bad, and it's always bad, and I hate it. Foresight is not what I really want to be spending my mana on, but it does help your deck consistency a little bit with a 2. Indignation. If we're in Wrath, otherwise enter Wrath. I don't know. I never play this card. It doesn't draw, or it isn't an attack. It does do some stance dancing, and it does apply a vulnerable, which is pretty good. 3 vulnerable to all enemies is like a lot of vulnerable. Wow. But I'm still going to give it 1. Inner Peace is some good stance dancing card draw stuff. It doesn't attack, but it's good. I'm giving it 4. Like Water it's not a card we want. It's a great card, but it's not good for the deck because we're not trying to stay in calm all the time, and we want block that scales with our decks. So I'm going to give it a 1. Meditate is interesting. It does help you like set up your turns. So if you're able to like do 3 attacks, get a block, and then meditate, you feel pretty good about your next turn. But I don't have a ton of cards that are in my discard pile that I want in my hand. But it does help me sort of make the Flurry of Blows survive through shuffles. And the upgrade is kind of nuts when you get 2 cards, so I'm going to give it a 3. Mental Fortress does not scale with decks, and isn't really what I want to be spending my mana on. That being said, we do some stance dancing, so it's got some value. I'll go to 2. Nirvana. This is nuts, actually. So we have tons of scrying right now, and even though it doesn't scale with decks, we can potentially get like 20 block a turn off of Nirvana, which is just crazy by itself. So I'm going to give that a 5. That's just too good. Perseverance, we already have 1 copy. We don't really need a second one, but we did pick 1 copy and upgrade it, so it's definitely a good card. I'll go with 3. Prey is bad. We don't want Mantra or Insight particularly. It would be good if it was attached to some defense or an attack or something, but it's not, so it gets a 1. Reach Heaven is kind of interesting. It is 2 attacks, technically. If Through Violence had Retain, it would be better, but it doesn't. So it's just an expensive attack. I'll give it a 2. It's better than a Strike, you know, like we're considering Pandora's Box here, so the cards we're replacing are not stellar. Rushdown is really good for this deck. I do always forget about Rushdown, but, you know, that doesn't stop it from being good. So we're going to give it a 5. The stance dancing and card drawing and stuff. Sanctity says card draw, and it also says block. So I'm going to give it a 4. It is kind of awkward to play because we don't play that many skills, but still. Sands of Time, core of the last build, not really good here. We don't want to wait around that long. Although a retained attack that costs 0 is pretty appealing in the long run. I'll give it a 3, but it's awkward. Signature move is probably bad. I mean, it's almost always probably bad, but like doing 40 damage is pretty crazy. 30 damage or 40 damage if it's upgraded. And all of our other attacks do cost 0, so it's possible that we can manipulate ourselves into a situation where a signature move actually does work. So I'll give that a 2. I'll give it a 3. No, I'm going to give it a 2. Let me go back and give it a 2. Okay. Simmering Fury helps you set up to kill people, but it doesn't do anything itself. And I don't know how good I am at setting up for next turn. I'll go to 2 because it's got potential, but I don't know, it confuses me. Study is weird because it gives you lots of draw power, but it sort of accentuates both the early game problems and the late game power of the deck, right? Because it's like, in the late game, you know, you're playing lots of insights and proccing Kunai and stuff, but in the early game, you're spending 2 mana developing a power and not proccing Kunai this turn. If we can get it upgraded, it's fine. If we get like Master Reality, maybe it's better. But like, again, Master Reality also doesn't proc Kunai, so I'm gonna give it a 1. I don't want it. Swivel is bad. All of our attacks already cost 0, so we would definitely struggle to use Swivel. It is a card that says block on it, but it's worse than a defend, so I'm gonna give it 1. Talk to the Hand is amazing. We're doing tons of attack, and block return would be great, even though it doesn't deck scale. I'll give it a 5. Tantrum's quite good. It strength scales itself, and it stance dances, and it's a 1-cost attack. So I'll give it a 5. Lots of good stuff here. Wallop is actually pretty good. It strength scales, and it's an attack. It doesn't also deck scale, I believe. It just gives you that block straight up. It doesn't let you apply dex to it. So I'll give it a 4. Wave of the Hand is a weird card. I assumed that it was bad and I've never picked it, but then I saw Jorb say it was really good. So like maybe I should be picking it. I don't know. I think that his evaluation is based off of trying to fight the heart though. And the heart, you have to peel its artifact charges. I'm not trying to do that. Plus, I tend to get block in like one big chunk at the end of the turn after I've gotten my decks. So I don't think Weave of the Hand is good for this deck. I'm going to give it a 1. Take that, Jorbs. Weave is obviously utterly insane. Just goes into your deck, into your hand all the time. Wheel Kick. I chose not to pick it at a card reward screen, but it was because there was something better at that card reward screen. It is an attack and it draws cards and stuff, so we're going to give it a 5. Maybe a 4 is appropriate, given that it's pretty expensive. No, I think 5 is appropriate. Windmill Strike has some of the same benefits of the 2-attack retain one, but it doesn't scale as well with strength. So I'll give it a 2. I mean, it's an attack and it retains, so it helps you be more consistent with your kunai procs. I don't know. Worship is terrible. It gets in the way and doesn't attack or block. Wreath of Flame is pretty bad. It's not an attack. It doesn't block. It does make your flying sleeves do slightly more damage. It's like a flex pot, but only for flying sleeves. I don't know. Alpha is not what we're trying to do. That's a 1. Blasphemy, it could work. I don't know. We don't have like super predictable damage turns, right? We're not like a Sands of Time deck. So I think I would be too afraid to play Divine Blasphemy a lot of times. But the upgrade says retain on it, so you don't really have to plan it. You're just like, oh, it's this turn. Surprise! You know, let's do Blasphemy and kill him. So I'm going to give it a 4. Brilliance is a 1 mana attack. It kind of does an unnecessary amount of damage, right? Like the thing I need out of my 1 mana attack is that it's 1 mana and it says attack on the card. The fact that this one, you know, does 20 damage by itself is kind of gravy. I'll give it a 3 just because doing extra damage is cool. Conjure Blade is really not what this deck wants to be doing. It's not terrible, but like we would end up being like, okay, I'm going to play my 3 attacks this turn, and I'm going to block, and then I'm going to Conjure Blade for 1, and then it like shuffles a 1 mana, deal 9 damage into your deck, which is just not, it's not good. So I'm going to give it a 1. Deus Ex Machina, we don't really want mana stuff, so I'm going to give it a 1. Deviform, same thing, give it a 1. Devotion, it's not what we want to spend mana on, give it a 1. Establishment. Establishment's a great card. We've got flying sleeves. We've got a couple of other things on this list that we're like, ooh, that would be exciting if we got it. So Establishment just like always gets a 5 for me. It's just such a good card. I give it a 4. It's slightly less good than this deck. Judgment's terrible. It gets a 1. Lessons learned. We have quite a few upgrades we need, and this is an attack, so we'll give it a 4. It's pretty good. Master Reality. We're currently not generating any things, and this doesn't really open up any cool new avenues. Obviously, it's good with the Deceive cards, but that's about it. I'll give it a 1. Omniscience, we can't even play it, so that's obviously a 1. And Ragnarok. Ragnarok is actually pretty good. It scales really well with strength. So if you've got 10 strength, then doing 16 times 6 with an upgraded Ragnarok is pretty nuts. So I'll give it a 5. I'll give it a 4. It kind of gets in the way, right? It's really difficult to play on a turn when you need to play 3 attacks, which is what you want the deck to be doing. Scrawl is obviously nuts. Draws you a ton of 0-cost attacks. Helps you play in your shuffles. Spirit Shield is bad. I wouldn't pick it. Vault. Honestly, Vault is like the best card for any character in the whole game, right? It's like never a bad card. It's always the best card. It's like it takes up a slot in your hand, but it like the only time you play Vault is a time when you're like, oh, thank God I have Vault. Like I don't have to worry about blocking this turn. I can just do a little bit of damage and then Vault and be like, haha, I'll see you guys next turn. Vault is amazing. 5 stars. And then Wish. We don't really need any of the things that Wish does. It would be kind of nice to have the plated armor, so we have to worry a little bit less about finding defense, but Wish gets in the way of proccing the things, so I'm giving it a 2. All right, we rated every Watcher card in the context of this deck, and we get a 2.7. It's not great. It's pretty low rating. Okay, back to game view. Nope. Okay. So we're not too excited about Pandora's Box because 2.7, like Pandora's Box at the very beginning of the game for Watcher is worth like 3.4 for context. So it's like got some real misses in there, particularly those like rare power cards, and you are going to find one of those rare power cards if you play Pandora's Box. Although it is worth mentioning that we'd only be getting 6 cards, right? We already removed a couple of Strikes and Defense, or one of each, I suppose. So that was a really long-winded way of saying that I think I'm going to pick Ectoplasm. Whew. Alright, we're against Champ. We're great against Champ, because he gives you some turns off, and then gives you a lot of time to scale, And like he resets his debuffs, but I don't care about his debuffs. Like by the time he's resetting, I'm gonna have, you know, 15 dex and 15 strength. So we want to spend this money as soon as possible. We have ectoplasm, so if we fight thieves, for example, we don't get the money back. So we really need to go to this shop specifically. And then I guess we can make this decision later when we're here, but probably we want to go to this elite fire, and then maybe this elite. But, you know, the other ways got some appeal too, where we've got this elite and then, no, I guess that's just worse, huh? Okay, cool, let's do this. Ah, why is it always thieves? Maybe we can kill both right now. No, there's no way we're killing both right now. We can kill one, probably. They have the same health this time, which is pretty unusual. I think this is like the top of his range and the bottom of his range. But we can, we got both Flurry of Blows in hand, so there's actually no advantage to Just Luckying. So we're going to do the Just Luckies last, so that one of them gets a Dex proc. Obviously, we're going to play all these cards and Vigilance this turn. So we're going to Flurry of Blows first. Oh, you target the back one because he does more damage later. I'll keep Empty Body. I'll be in Vigilance next turn, and it will get me back my my things. Unfortunately, we get to see Empty Body again here. And Vigilance these back. So we can't even kill one with Fire Pot, which is disappointing. So we get two procs. We could Block Pot here. But it only saves us, let's see, we're taking 22, so it saves us 8. I don't know, I mean, it says 12 on it. It's supposed to block for 12, but what if we get a potion in this fight, you know? So the marginal value of it, I think, is maybe makes 8 acceptable. Maybe that was ill-considered, because, like, we're probably going to want to use Fire Potion in this fight, so that we get less money stolen from us. So, considering the marginal value of getting potion blocked, or the marginal value considering the opportunity cost of getting potion blocked, is not appropriate, because we're not going to get potion blocked because we're going to use this Fire Potion. And in fact, we're going to use the Fire Potion right now, I think. But I will go into Empty Body and see sort of where we're at. So we've got these two, and then this has got a strength proc. And then we could block out even with both. We're only wasting 1 damage if we just throw it all into Mugger. But we could put 24 damage, or 26 damage into Looter and do Fire Potion. There's not really any advantage to doing that, though. Like, we're gonna kill both of them this round, and maybe we don't need Fire Potion, so, oh, you know what? We do actually miss out on a little bit of extra damage, because if we use the Fire Potion, we get to use the Flurry of Blows to proc Strength for Flying Sleeves. So instead of missing out on 1 damage, we're missing out on 3 damage. I don't really care that much about missing out on 3 damage, but I do care about... I'm going to use the Fire Potion just to be absolutely sure that we kill both of these as soon as possible. I guess we're missing out on 3 damage either way, but... Okay, looks like we can probably win this fight with 388 left, which is fine, that's plenty. Stupid thieves. Bowling Bash is pretty good for AoE fights, and 2/3 of the Act 2 elites are AoE. Bowling Bash also scales with strength, which makes it good. But it doesn't draw any cards. We rated it as a 4, so I mean, that's a good card. Bowling Bash is also really good for, like, Venomancer and stuff later. And it's a 1-mana attack. I don't know. It's like among the best 1-mana attacks, and like I think we probably need to take at least one more 1-mana attack in addition to like lots of card draw. So we'll take Bowling Bash right now. I don't think we want a second Empty Body. It's fine, but it's not good. Okay, now we get to spend all our money. Interesting. Well, being weakened doesn't really matter that much. And then we don't really need 5 energy, and we don't have any X cards, so these relics are all kind of garbage, unfortunately. We could play Sadistic Nature, but we don't have like Wave of a Hand or anything. But we do have, let's see, we have one of those cards, right? We have, no, actually we don't. So that's probably bad. Let's see. We could card remove, and buy Ginger. Yeah, that's probably the best thing to do. But then we could buy Wallop. Wallop is great. Because it's an attack that blocks. And we want to be playing pretty much only attacks. And attacks that block, you know. Hope you block. So if we take Wallop, what are we doing? Taking like Wallop, card remove, there's 130. Why is this potion so expensive? It's crazy. Strength Bot's pretty good. Let's see, when are we fighting our first elite? So we're doing one hallway fight at minimum in the middle. Well, we've got Smiling Mask, so we should definitely at least remove a card. So let's remove a strike. And yeah, it's kind of Wallop versus Ginger. I don't know, Ancient Tea Set's really good too. But we have to find ways to draw lots of cards to make Ancient Tea Set good. None of these cards draw, although Battle Hymn kind of does. If we buy Wallop, are we buying Battle Hymn too? What about Tranquility? Tranquility is pretty good. No, I think we just buy Ginger. It uses our money really effectively, and becoming weakened is pretty bad. Sigh. Okay, I'm going to do this question mark. We can no longer remove cards from the deck. Oh yeah, this is useless because we have Ectoplasm, so these in this set are the same. Okay, so this is the decision about... Oh wait, no, we can do this minion in the set. Avocado. So hopefully we can cut through Fate, find an extra attack, and then attack and Perseverance. We did. Yeah. Avocado's tough because he attacks so hard on the first turn. So it looks like we're going to do 3 attacks and then a defend here. We want to pop that armor as soon as we can, so we're going to strike and Flurry of Blows before we Just Lucky. We're going to keep it Just Lucky on top. And then defend and conclude. We're good. We might stun him if we get rid of all of his plated armor. Okay, we're going to Flurry of Blows and then strike. And Vigilance, get back our Flurry of Blowses. That, we're just playing all the cards. I guess our scaling is too high to remove his plated armor. Well, that was kind of an unfortunate fight. We got hit really hard right off the bat. Do we study? So now that we have Ectoplasm, we're a little bit less restricted on mana early on. We could also just take Third Eye. So we're probably going to rest at this. No, we've got 41. We're pretty good. Okay, so which Act 3 Elite are we most worried about? Book of Stabbing, he scales really fast, but we also scale really fast, so I'm not too worried about that. Slavers hit you hard right away, and they are the most worrying. But I think we've probably got them. I'm not too worried about Slavers. We kind of just need a good draw, right? We've got like Bowling Bash. We just need like a Flurry of Blows and a Vigilance in our opening hand. So if we take Study and then upgrade it at this campsite, are we better or worse against Slavers than if we upgraded something else and skipped here or took Third Eye? We don't really have anything that super needs an upgrade anymore. The Just Luckies could use them. Eruption, kinda. Yeah, so since we're planning on using an upgrade, since we've got enough health, I think we should pick something here that needs an upgrade. And the thing here that's really good with the upgrade is Study. Although, actually, Meditate's pretty good with an upgrade too, huh? Because it helps you set up for next turn. But we don't have anything that we really want to like retain, you know? I guess like getting Perseverance back is pretty good. But it already retains by itself. I do want the card. I can't lie to myself. Or to you, Akiran. I respect you too much for that. Yeah, all these cards are interesting, to be honest. Like, Third Eye is really good if we ever get a Weave. Meditate is really good for like setting up for future procs. But I think Study is the card, because we really need lots of draw. And it hurts to develop Study. It's like kind of a bad card, especially before it's upgraded. But it gets pretty good. So we're going to take it. We've got the stupid combination of Ceramic Fish and Ectoplasm, so whenever we pick a card, they both bounce. We have trouble blocking for 21 here, so we can block for 8. And then proc at the end of the turn. We can peel off one of his plated armor. We could have shot the Fungi Beast. I don't know. I'm always a little bit afraid of killing him on accident, because he does weaken you. I guess maybe we're resting at that site, unfortunately. I really thought that we were going to be able to get an upgrade here, but this 2 avocados has been pretty rough on my health total. So I think we're probably killing Fungi Beast since we can't block this out. And he's doing more damage than the Vulnerable would. So this and that... No, it has to be Flying Sleeves and Strike to do the damage. And then Just Lucky is basically wasted. Yeah. Let's do it. There's no way to use it. 14, yeah. Okay, well we'll do it first, just see what's up, get rid of the strike. And then we will strike Flying Sleeves, get vulnerable, block a little bit, and waste that power that we just picked. Man, both of this... Oh, wait. Vigilance is one of the last cards. We really need that Vigilance. I guess we can just go get it with Cut Through Fate. Yeah, and then we can empty body this turn too. Oh wait, yeah, we have 4 mana. Whew, okay. Alright, so we're gonna Cut Through Fate, go get Vigilance. Flurry of Blows peels off the thing. Vigilance for armor. Punch you a bunch. Get more armor. Punch you more. And then we can defend the last bit. Okay, so now we're finally online, so hopefully you won't hit us anymore. Okay. So we can Eruption Empty Body, And so we can Flurry of Blows, Eruption, Flurry of Blows, so that Just Lucky does extra block. And we'll do Just Lucky before Empty Body. Oh wait, this is lethal. I don't care about it. Okay. Rushdown is super good for this deck. More ways of drawing, although it is also a power that we have to play. So here we are at the fire. We have 16 health. But if we fight slavers and we try and upgrade here, we're probably going to die. But if we fight slavers with an unupgraded study in the deck, are we also going to die? Slavers are just bad for us. Slavers are bad for your health. All right. So we're gonna rest before the fire, before the elite, because it's the responsible thing to do. And then after the elite, hopefully we'll be able to afford an upgrade. Ah, it's fucking slavers. Okay. And here's our unupgraded study. Just derping around in hand. Disastrously, we don't have 3 attacks in hand either. So this is a real pickle. None of these exhaust either. Oh my god. I guess we can just study Defend Perseverance and try to get online later. And drink the deck spot. Try and block as hard as we can. Bolting Bash does 21 damage, which is quite a bit, but it's not enough to kill anybody this turn. So yeah, I think we're praying a little bit. It's a good thing we rested at that campsite. This is going to be tough. Okay, so the conclude makes me think, can we kill somebody this turn? Yuck. Okay, so conclude does 12. It'll probably do 13 by the time we get there. Flying Sleeves, we can get a strength before we play it, so we can play Flurry, Just Lucky, Strike, and Flying Sleeves. That does mean, excuse me, that we're passing up on a dex for Just Lucky. So if we're passing up on that dex and we're getting 4 plus 8 is 12 block, and we're taking 8 damage from these two, which is quite a bit of damage. But I don't see a better alternative. And we have 4 mana worth of stuff in hand, and 4 mana, so I think we're good. That was all assuming that we're killing this slaver. Can we actually kill this slaver? We've only got... No, we don't have enough damage. So it's 4, 10, 13, plus 10 is 23, plus 13. Yeah, so we are actually taking 17 damage right now. And coming very close to death. But there's no better play available, so... I guess let's just do it. We need to find defensive cards, but we also need to find attacks next turn. Gross. Okay, so we have Vigilance and Flurry of Blows, and unhelpfully, Rushdown. So we're going to Flurry of Blows before we Vigilance, and then... wow, this math is not working out. Maybe we play 3 attacks, and then use this strike to kill him. From 8. So then these 3 attacks could go... Uh-oh, I'm totally dying this turn. Yeah, there's no way to play this that doesn't end in me dying. Shoot. After such a promising start, I think I just ruined the deck by just putting some bad powers in it. I think that the deck wins this fight without these stupid cards. Because I would have drawn 2 more cards, and maybe those would have been like Insights or Cut Through Fates or something. Just lucky. Darn. I just talk to the hand generated by a dead branch, helpfully, right as I'm dying. Man, that's... I cannot believe I lost this run. Maybe it was too aggressive to take an elite fight here? But the deck seems so good. Wow. What happened? That's embarrassing. Alright, it's going to be a short stream today. I just feel gross. I'm going to go take a nap. This tea did not do enough for me. Did not revivify me. Thanks for stopping by. The slavers have killed this run and also me. See you guys tomorrow.